At the end of the day, titles fade. Character doesn't. This is No Rank Required. All right, welcome back to No Rank Required. This is episode 1, and it's exactly what this platform is built for. Not titles, not stripes, not positions, just character. Today's guest is Schuyler. He's a senior enlisted leader for Director of Operations, and he's someone who's been in leadership for over 20 years. If he had to sum up his leadership style in one word, it's trust. Outside of work, passionate. But if you strip away the rank, the title, the authority, Sean's going to tell you he's just a man. He's simple, trying to be kind, devoted to his faith, his family, and his friends. People assume he's angry or that he's hard, but what you're going to hear tonight is someone grounded in ownership and humility. A leader who's failed publicly more than once and learned that humility isn't weakness, it's growth. His leadership shifted back in 2014 when he crossed into intelligence. That moment reshaped how he sees teams, how he sees experience and responsibility. He's candid about what frustrates him in leadership today. He believes we traded experience for youth and expected longevity to fix it. He doesn't believe it worked. And when it comes to accountability, he keeps it simple. It starts with you. Sean believes leadership isn't about what happens when you're in charge. It's about what happens after you leave. He'll tell you that straight up that if you can't handle failure and building teams, you shouldn't be leading. And the quiet part most won't say out loud, we own the problem, never the solution. His philosophy is very simple. Lean forward. When you fall, it hurts less and it's easier to get back up. At the core, he refuses to compromise ownership. And when his career is over, he doesn't care about headlines. He wants people to say he was fair. He showed up and that he cared. And the last thing is that he made people around him better. This isn't a conversation about position. It's about impact. This is Schuyler, and this is No Rank Required. All right, Sean. So we've been talking about rank, position, leadership on paper, but this platform isn't about paper. It's about who you are when nobody's looking. So we're going to start there, all right? So we're going to talk about identity before title. But before we jump into that, I've already given the intro, showcase who you were. Is there anything you want to say before we jump into the questions?
No, let's hit it.
Right into it. All right. You said if you were stripped away of rank and title, you were just a man trying to be kind and devoted to faith, family, and friends. So where did that grounding come from?
I think it came from my upbringing, right, man? My parents just watching how my dad was as a human being, right? And my mom cared for every person that ever came in her home. So I think that was there from a young age. But right, I've also had great humans and great friends everywhere I've ever been in the uniform, and just watching how we take care of each other as a family, no matter where we are.
That makes sense. So it sounds like it's pretty much always been there. There's no it wasn't like a groundbreaking moment when you joined the military. It was just there. It sounds like family into service. You had it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. So at one point when we were talking, you mentioned people assume you're angry and asshole, right? So we brought that up. And I get that too. I get it quite a bit, which I'm a hugger. I don't know why I get that, but so I'm going to push into that a little bit. When we get to those senior levels, the senior SEAL level leadership, any kind of level of that, even in the civilian world, intensity is often rewarded. Do you think that sometimes that perception is earned?
That intensity is often rewarded, is earned. I don't know. I've met some exceptionally kind leaders who were approachable in every way, shape, or form. But at the same time, right? Like my job is to teach somebody else to come in and be able to do what I can do, and that doesn't always mean showing them every step. It's pointing them to the things that they can do themselves and cheering them on. So I don't think you have to be intense. But I do agree with you. I think that intensity is often rewarded. But I think that can also lead to toxic environments.
Well, it's also interesting when we have these discussions, especially in the career field that we're in. You know, it's a different generation. It's a different environment of people altogether in terms of how they come up. Because you were prior security forces and you had stuff like that, that type upbringing. I was with the army a lot in my career. A lot of the communities I worked in, like that intensity, like it showed confidence that you knew what you're doing. Like people rewarded that to a certain extent, as long as you were right. Obviously, if you come in there with a false notion, like you're just saying shit and it doesn't lead to anything, obviously you get called out. But for all intensive purposes, like that, like you're supposed to be in the moment like that, that people are looking at you and they know that when you speak, it means something. Now, I'm not saying that doesn't stand true where we are now, but it has a different way of approach and how we put it out there. So, talking to that, do you think there's a difference between being intense and just being unapproachable? Um, because go back to when we were airmen, like I never spoke to my mass sergeant unless I was like in trouble or even my tech sergeant. I was like, oh shit, like staff was about as high as I went or some random LT that like wandered in there. But today you have airmen that'll walk right in the commander's office almost and be like, what's up? You know, it's just a different world. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with you. Like when I was coming up, the I didn't know who a master sergeant was, right? And I've had a little bit of a different career path, right? So I would say I knew who master sergeants were when I was in the Air Guard at the very beginning of my military journey. Um, as a cop, a little less, right? Maybe a little more because I was a canine handler, but but certainly it wasn't a thing for most of our flights and our teams. You see them in the morning, you see them doing admin. They weren't your day-to-day ride-along um, partner, right?
Right.
I would say in the Intel environment, um, they have access to you almost always, right? Generally, you're working side by side with them, and I think there's some value add to that. There's some benefits to that, but I think it also hurts our young leaders too, right? Because they go to the person who they think has the answer immediately instead of giving their people the opportunity to help solve those problems. Um, and so normally for me, I think it comes down to redefecting that back to somebody and saying, "Hey, man, did you talk to your person?"
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think that being unapproachable is terrible, right? Like, but I also think that there's a time and place for those things,
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
right? I do know unapproachable leaders, and it's not great for their organizations at all. Um, you do
I
have to
also
be
think
approachable.
there's a difference in a I think we try to scope things in the same bucket. We try to like talk about the same. Everyone's the same, but being unapproachable during a certain situation may be what's needed. Now, on the grand scale of unapproachable, then yeah, we need to have a talk. But a lot of times, in my experience, when leaders are truly unapproachable, like nobody wants to talk to them, it's been my experience. It's because those leaders or those airmen or those civilians, whoever, don't necessarily get things done or they're not reliable. Like they're just people go to them and nothing happens. I've also seen that I've been told I'm unapproachable sometimes because I walk like I guess with purpose, I guess is the best way to put it. I'm passionate, as they put it. And certain airmen have told me and certain people that sometimes they show like I look like I'm on a drive, you know. So I get it. It's two different things, at least in my opinion. Okay, that's fair. All right, so you've got 20 years in, more than 20 years in actually, and within a wide range of leadership in different jobs, moving into stuff. So that means evolution, right?
Sure.
So going through all those years, nobody leads the same at their third 3 year mark. And fast forward to where you are now, 20 plus years in, right? So now we're going to talk
Sure.
about growth and how it changed from that 3 year mark or early on all the way to where we are now. So it's talking about leadership evolution. Okay. So this first question is going to be kind of a out there one a little bit. Let's see if you can. A lot of people get caught up on it. It sounds like it's a simple question, but a lot of times people have to think about it. But what's something you believed early on in your career that you completely disagree with today,
That I
if
had to
there is
solve
any?
everything.
Say that one more
That
time.
I, that as a leader, it was my job to provide solutions,
Oh yeah,
right?
totally.
It's not, right? Like it's my job to help cage the problem. It's my job to make sure that I understand the problem that's being voiced and even understand the problems that are um, facing my organization, but I don't have to be the one to solve everything. Matter of fact, it's probably best most of the time if I'm not the one to solve that problem. I can have a voice in it. I can help shape it. Um, but love it or hate it, I had a good leader many years ago who wasn't a great leader in all respects, but one thing that they said always stuck with me. And I believe that even leaders who aren't your favorite or as well-rounded as a leader as you'd like them to be can leave you with something.
Yeah.
And that person left me with this, which is if you don't own the no, then the answer is yes, right? Until you can get to a point where someone owns the no, then you need to keep pushing to yes. Now, that doesn't mean blanket, I just send it on its way and the next person has to be the bad guy to say no.
Yeah.
But it
Flicking
does
burger.
mean that I ask the shaping questions like, have you considered this?
Yeah.
And help them figure that out, right? Until they get to a point where either they realize, hey, this is not the solution I thought it was, or to get to a point where it's really well formulated that the next level needs to start asking questions and seeing if it is an actual solution. Um, yeah, yeah, I would
Yeah.
say that that's changed a lot, and I
Oh,
still struggle with it.
I think we all do. We always want to help. But we all get to a point in our careers in life where we just know it, we're the ones out the door. It's our job to provide this research. Everything you just said. It's a hard thing to learn.
Right.
But we have to. So I definitely get it. So, kind of following up on that, back in 2014, you crossed over to Intel. You said it was a big shift in how you looked at things. Like, so what exactly shifted? Was it the job change, or just was the environment you had to shift because of the people you're with, or did something click? Like, oh God, the world's different. What was it?
It's an intensity level, right? I mean, we've had many conversations, but like the every generation that comes before says, "Oh, you're softer than my generation," right? Like,
Because
and
it's
they do
true.
it. They all do it. Like the World War vets were told that by the World War One vets. The
Yep.
World War Two vets were told that. The Vietnam vets were told that by you know. It just kept going, and
Yeah.
it always does, right? And we all sit around and go silently, like, what are they going to do if a conflict comes? Like they haven't faced that. But to be honest with you, like we never faced something like that. We faced some things, but and so looking at it through that lens, right? Intel's it's a different breed of airmen. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of great airmen who are embedded with all kinds of people and live that operator style life, right? They're real we'll say that they're sharp, right? They're iron that's been sharpened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but
Been around the block.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
the vast majority of the Intel career field are thinkers. And
Yeah.
my favorite thing about coming from being a cop to Intel was being able um, to bring my experience of, hey, there are people out there that need this, and this is why. This is why it is so important you get this right, that you don't have this, right? And so but our airmen are different. Um,
Yeah.
the the and it, in fairness, like it doesn't matter if you put it in a military perspective or a civilian perspective, right? There are some organizations that you're going to walk into, and it's different from the last place
Oh yeah. 100%.
that you came from, and that was my experience, right? I came from um, a world where there were really high standards and really high expectations because they had to be,
Yeah.
right? Whether that was because you're working around some sensitive stuff or whatever. Intel has some of those things, but it's different. It's definitely different.
Yeah, I think we're going. It's a society and generational thing. I mean, look at me and you played with sticks and muds. I mean, more so me. You were, I think, Stone Age, but I get it. But fast forward to the airmen that are coming in now. They came in like coding ones and zeros, having computers when their phones when they're 5, 6, whatever. And fast forward to what we are now. I don't know if you looked into the world of AI and cyber. Like, it's crazy. Like to see what these kids and like my kid has these engineering toolkits and stuff. It's just a generation. It's going to keep shifting and getting quicker. Like I remember when websites first started getting designed, it would take. I remember, don't quote me on this, but I remember when I was somewhere in college, early 20s. It's about 20 years
Yeah.
ago. It would take like a month to design a true website. I created a full website in about an hour today using AI. Blew my mind. I'm still working on it, so it's gonna be crazy to see where we go in 20 years.
You
We
know,
may just be fighting Terminators. I don't know, but
I think AI, I think AI is great. I think there is a lot of benefits that are
oh
coming
yeah,
our way because of it. I also
yeah.
think we need to be very careful,
Oh,
right?
100% agree. It's a
I think
resource. I think a lot of people
we,
forget
I
that.
think we need, yeah, 100%. You can't have it doing your work for you because I've
100%
put some
agree.
stuff into AI and watched it spit out crazy, right? But it's funny, you talk about your kids, right? Like I have kids that are old enough to be people that I lead on an everyday basis, right? And so when I go to a school or I go somewhere and I learn a new skill or a new tool, I have to come home and be like, oh, I learned this thing. And my kids are like, yeah, I've been doing that for years. And it's like, whoa, they are so much further ahead than I will ever get, right? And I would say probably this last 6 months ish, it's really hit me. I've turned into my parents, and my parents have become my grandparents. As far as technology is concerned, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember as a kid when we got something new, it went to my grandparents, and then we spent a weekend teaching them how to, play cards on a computer, right? Um, and now I'm asking my son to teach me Python so that I can better use AI when it spits out a code for me to build a spreadsheet, or to build a PowerPoint. It's pretty incredible.
I mean, I 100% agree with you. It's changing so fast. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
Um when we talked earlier, you said that we traded experience for youth, expecting to keep leaders longer, and that necessarily hasn't happened or worked. That's a big one. So some would argue that youth brings innovation, but so where's the balance so tied into all this we were just talking about? So when you get into the deeper dive of that, like what's one leadership failure that still stings when you think about it, and like, how do you unpack all that?
Right. I think the biggest thing that bothers me about certain organizations is that we think that we can solve things by creating longevity, right? If I can if I can keep you longer, I can teach you what you need to know when you need to know it. This has been really something that for most of my career has been something that I've literally heard everybody I know talk about, but we've never crossed and found a solution, which is we're getting information too late for it to be valuable in our career.
Yeah,
Um, whether that's going to a PME, whether that's what you're learning at a PME, uh, for those in the audience, professional military education. Whether that is going to a school and partnering with industry. And had you known that 6 months prior, you could have made a world of difference in your mission set. But now it's not as important. Um, and I would say that experience is a big thing, right? Not that we have to continue to do things the way that we've always done them. I hate that answer. Oh, we're doing it because that's the way we've always done it. That's a terrible answer. That is somebody who is afraid to admit that they don't know,
totally agree.
um, and get out in front of it and say, I don't know, but I know you and I trust you. It's something we talk about often, right? Like if I had to describe what leadership means to me, it means trust.
Hmm.
Like I want my boss to trust me so that I can go out and trust my people so that using all of that trust combined, we can do really great and powerful things. But you got to start with trust and you got to build that trust.
I totally agree.
Youth, you're going to make a lot of mistakes when you're young. You're going to make a lot of really tough mistakes and you're going to try to go fast. Um, there's something to be said for leaders who, even under stress, even under tension, pressure, can stay low, slow, and steady. Um, and that's something you learn. that's something you learn by failing young while you're protected. Um, that's not something you can afford to make at a senior level.
I 100% agree. You actually said something earlier that I think is going to hit people pretty hard. And after all the rants you've heard me go on, accountability is a huge one for me. That's actually one of the reasons I started this podcast. I'm even building a website and leadership tactics tied to it. It's accountability. It's one of the biggest ones I think that people just don't truly grasp because they get so tunnel vision what they're doing that they don't understand what the full word of accountability means, not only to us but also holding other people accountable and just holding everyone around us, keeping our team, if you will, to everybody accountable. Um, so essentially, it starts with you, and you said it, and it's 100% accurate. So with that, what does accountability actually look like when you are the senior individual on a team, senior enlisted leader, or just the boss? Like, what does that accountability look like?
It means taking a look in the mirror, brother.
One
That
percent. Yeah.
it look, I've been that guy. 2017, I was not in a good place. I was not healthy, skinny, but I was fit, right? I wasn't healthy fit, but I was fit. I was thin. I fit the mold, right? I have been getting nothing but bigger since then. And I spent the last few months looking myself in the mirror every day and going, I don't like that person. I have to make a change. Um, a lot of it has to do with coming to an end of an era, right? Like I know that if I don't do it now, I'm gonna pay for it for the rest of my life, right? And so there's some personal skin in the game, but that's kind of the point. You look in the mirror and put some skin in the game. You have to hold yourself accountable before you can hold anyone accountable. And that means openly and publicly admitting and owning your failure, right? And you can do that in a way which is not embarrassing to you or to the organization or to your team, right? But some of the best leaders I ever worked around kind of broke it down Barney for me, right? Like they would tell me things like, look, when you win, you win. When the team loses, I lose. I'm the leader, right? And I kind of always took that away, right? Like as a team, we win. The team always wins.
Yeah.
When individuals have a problem, we hold them accountable. They lose, right? And it's not even really a loss, it's failure. And I think it's critical as leaders that we embrace failure because failure is going to happen. Um, and the more you fail, the faster you fail forward, the faster you get to looking at a better world and a better team. And you're able to build that trust because you know when your teammate fails, they know they can depend on you to pick them up, and you can depend on them to get up, right?
I 100% agree with you, and it's establishing that picture from the get go. One of the biggest things I've noticed is people come into leadership positions, and the ones I have mad respect for are the ones that will be straight up with you, and they set the story straight. Like, look, guys, I've done X, X, and X. I need to learn all this. Help me learn. Let's get together. Let's get there together. The ones I've had issues with are the ones that come in like, I know this, I know that. This is how we do this, and it turns out they really didn't know shit. So it became very apparent if people were just paying attention. Those are the ones that have issues doing exactly what you just mentioned. And the way I've seen it and own my failures is I'm very forefront right from the beginning. Look, we're charting like new territory here, guys. Like, I'm learning with you guys. Let's do it together. Or even when you don't, like, it's just being open to your team with that feedback consistently, kind of keeping your left and rights in place. And I think we just fail to do that a lot in today's environment. Um,
Yeah,
so leading,
something
I'm sorry, go ahead.
something you said that really resonates with me, right? Like um, sometimes leaders say they know how to do something. Oh, I got it. I know how to do this. I know how
Mm-hmm.
to do this, and they might genuinely think they do, um, but they only know what they were taught.
100%.
um, right? Or what they sought out for knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best leaders I've ever met were taught nothing by anyone. They
Mm-hmm.
went out and got it, right?
100. I totally agree with you.
They went out and found the information, did the work, put themselves together. They are self-made in every way possible. And they're some
Mm-hmm.
of the most creative and passionate leaders out there because they dove in. Um, we as leaders can't possibly know everything.
Mm-mm.
However, you can build a team that does know everything. It's possible. It just means that you're going to have to, like I said, trust. You're going to have to trust that somebody else is going to do this right.
Man, I couldn't agree with you more. The last 2 years of my career has been me just research because I didn't want to be ignorant in meetings, and I got so lucky. I had a particular senior sale master that came in, had so much knowledge operationally that I knew for a fact I could lean on him to do stuff. And then it turns out I had another senior sale that came from the same background that she just between I had 3 senior SEALs essentially in my squadron that I knew for a fact I can lean on to help me get around things, not to mention the rest of the other senior SEALs that help me in other environments. Like, if it had not been for that core level of master sergeants within that squadron, I would have sunk, man. Like, I went into that squadron knowing I'd never done anything of that nature. I'd run teams and led teams in all kinds of environments, even in country, but coming into an environment such as that was unknown for me. And in terms of the stuff I was gonna dive into, I mean, I cannot tell you how thankful I am for those people that I had around me, to include my boss, my DO. Like, probably easily one of the smartest DOs I've ever worked for. Probably because he's a patch, but I'm not gonna tell him that. It's made up.
Yeah, don't fill his head. That's not
Yeah.
okay. They are smart. They're
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
If you're looking for them, patches are great people. We'll normalize that for today. But yeah, I will say this, man. You find yourself in those spots where you get lucky, right? You get lucky to have people that just fall into your organization and fall into your thing. I think as leaders, we often fail to cultivate, right? Like
Mhm.
really get to know the team. We work as senior leaders. It doesn't really matter. You want to take it out of the military context. You want to take it into the civilian world. I've worked both, right? Like it doesn't really matter. You have to know your team. You have to know the strengths and weaknesses of your team, and you have to build teams that accentuate or embolden people to use their talents, right? We're not all the same, and we all have different things that we bring to the fight. But at the end of the day, if you don't know your people, we talk about this a lot in the military, right? Like, get out there, know your people, get in their life. Mm, I don't like being in somebody's life, right? But I do want to be enough of a friend to somebody that if they're really struggling, they know they can pick up the phone and call me, right? But at the same time, like I don't want to have to come to your house and check on you because you're not cleaning your house, right? Like,
We got first sergeants for that, man.
yeah, really
Don't
not
tell
there.
Farrah I said that.
I mean, I get it, and there's a lot of them that are willing to do it. Great human beings, God bless them.
Yeah.
The I I think the problem though is that when you don't build a culture inside your organization, where you truly know people and you know what they're struggling with, you know what they're good at, um, you risk having to spend so much more time with those people. That 80-20 rule, right?
Yeah.
80% of your people get left behind because 20% of your people you got to deal with because you don't know your team holistically. Um, Now, you can know your team a few different ways, right? Like there's different levels of management. Um, Me personally, I want to know my team, right? Like, do I know everyone the same? I strive for that. Does it always happen? No.
Well, I
Um,
think also you gotta, for anybody coming new into it, I think the word team is subjective, right? Are we talking about, like, for instance, if you're SEO at a squadron, like you've got 300 people under you, so like, they're all part of your team, right? SEO. But when my argument, my team, that the people I want to know are my commander, my first sergeant, my flight chief, stuff like that. Some of my squadron commanders, I'm sorry, flight commanders, that smaller syncatine, I trust that they know. I set the example by knowing them. Now, do I get around and talk to the airmen? Of course, yes. I'm going to try to recognize people throughout the squadron, but 300 strong. There's no way one person's going to know intimately. They may be able to see people walking through, hey Joe, hey Sally, stuff like that. But there's just no way you're gonna know that stuff. But whereas like my flight chiefs, I know some of the struggles they're going through. If one's pregnant, or spouse is at home sick, whatever, stuff like that. I can know them because that's my team, the people I work with day in and day out, right? So I think a lot of leaders coming up in there, or in just in general, in any leadership role, they try to overwork it. I think trying to know too many people and too much, they get too involved. I've seen master sergeants that go through their tech to their staff all the way down to the airman trying to help an airman, and I'm like, no, 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 let the staff. That's how you develop these guys. And that's a big point why I think a lot of our NCOs are coming up. They're just not getting the experience because we were too involved at the senior NCO level going into the airman today than what we used to be. So that
Right.
development that we got as younger NCOs, it's happening. Don't get me wrong, but not nearly to the level it was when we were younger, in my opinion. But
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I agree to some extent. I would say I've met people who are exceptionally gifted at this.
well,
They
yeah,
they
they are
know
out there. Yeah,
they know 350 people's names, birth dates, spouses, kids, pets, what they ate for lunch yesterday, right?
yeah,
Like it, they're really gifted at this. And
yeah,
I'm not that guy.
yeah.
My memory is only so big. I'm
Same.
a T-Rex, really tiny brain, really big body. Like it just it doesn't work for me, right?
No, I get
It
it.
takes me time to get to know people. I agree with you from some aspects. When you get to a senior level of leader where you're at, to some extent where I'm at, the the pool gets small, right?
Yeah.
The people you are technically teaming with are small. However, it isn't that far removed from a time when you were a flight chief of
Oh,
100
agree.
people,
Yeah,
of 150 people. You got people out in the world that are supervising a couple hundred people doing really crazy stuff, right? And yeah, they have intermediate supervisors, they have other people to help them there, but they still have a duty to know those people,
yeah.
um, right? Like, I agree with you. It's probably not your role to step over every other leader in the chain to reach down and individually help somebody. It
Well,
is probably
I think there's a level. Like, obviously, we can do it. We're obviously human, and we want to help people
sure.
where we can. But we have to make that adjustment ourselves as leaders to let other people grow in that environment, so they can learn to be there, help grow them. But obviously, yeah, we can dive down to help. Like, I'd still go help in flights with airmen doing random stuff. I helped someone find a sponsor the other day just because I was bored. Um, so I get it, but
Yeah, but I mean, I get it. And there are different schools of thought on this, right? Like, you're robbing somebody of an opportunity, or no, I'm taking something off somebody's plate who's
yeah,
already overwhelmed,
I think it's
right?
situationally dependent. I totally agree.
Yeah, I would agree. It's dependent on the situation. I would say most importantly though, it's as a leader you have to have this perception of equality, fairness, right?
Yeah,
Like I don't treat people different. I don't care where you come from, what I just don't care, right? Like I'm not that invested in anything about the world to have to care that much. Um, I do care that everybody on my team, every person on my team is high functioning.
I
I
agree.
want the best, right? And I can't expect you to be the best if I'm not giving you the tools to be the best. Sometimes those tools are putting you in the right environment. It's not the old adage of plant where you grow.
Yeah.
Some people are really good at that. Some people can do that really well. Like it doesn't matter what you give me, I'm gonna work hard, I'm gonna figure it out, right? Like that's just my personality type. There are other people out there, they will drown. They will drown long before they ever grow.
Oh, I agree. And again, I
Yeah,
think it's just dependent on you and the person's situation. So there's a lot of variables
sure.
that come into play. The bigger your toolbox is, the more efficient you are, right? Effective you are. The
100%.
So, one point you said that we as leaders own the problem, right? Never the solution. So, it's pretty heavy for a lot of people. But to get into it, some leaders feel like they're supposed to have all the answers. Are you saying they shouldn't? And if so, is ego the real enemy in that directive? Like thinking they always have to have the answers? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think, right. So I think as leaders, we try really, really hard to be like, I'm the 100-pound brain in the room and I'm going to solve this. It feels good to solve things. Don't like as a leader, I love the most rewarding part of my day is figuring out how something works and solving it.
Hmm.
But I think I found more reward in recent years, um, figuring something out and then teaching somebody else how to do it.
Oh, I totally agree.
Because at the end of the day, I'm one person and I don't last forever. I have been that guy in a room who literally said, "You want me to leave? Become me, right? Do what I can do so that I can leave."
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Some
So,
people would say it's arrogance, right? Like, oh yeah, it's pure arrogance. You think that you know how to do everything. It's not that. It's that I can do a variety of things that are essential, and not all of them do I do well at. Um, but I'm able to do well enough to make sure that my team is super successful. Um, yeah, give or take.
no,
Um,
I totally agree with you. And I think the term arrogance or the ego, all that stuff plays on the environment you're in too. Like coming to some of the places I've been stationed, teams I worked with, the way I hold myself and answer and respond is how I was taught. It's like, hey, put your chest out, speak loudly, confident. Make sure we know that we can trust you, and when you say something, I think I've told you this, but I received direct feedback here, like almost the opposite. Like, I don't think this person meant anything nefarious about it or trying to like counter me and how I do things, but their exact feedback was that I have to be cognizant how like big I am or how loud I speak because it make people in the room feel like their voices don't matter. I'm like, I don't. I've been sounding on that one for like months, man. I don't know how to process that. I've talked to them and like I get where that person was coming from. It makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't. That only, in my personal opinion, only stands true if we allow it to. Like, it's not like I don't let other people speak. Like, I'm gonna call them out if they're wrong. I'm sorry if you're wrong. I'm gonna let you know. I'm not gonna pull you to the side and be like, "Hey, just to let you know, you're wrong." Like, I'm on. You need to own your shit. Know your stuff when you come into a meeting like that. There's places to coach and teach. And there's other times where you need to know what you're talking about. You're amongst people that can make decisions and influence. And if you're saying shit that just doesn't make sense, like I'm gonna call him like, nope, sorry, you're wrong. Like that's how stuff goes sideways really fast.
yeah.
So moving into that, we're gonna talk about teams because anybody can manage tasks. We learned that pretty early on, right? To a certain effect. But not everybody can build something that lasts. And you kind of spoke to that, like who's gonna carry on tomorrow, you know what I mean? So in terms of building teams that last, if someone can't handle failure and building teams, they shouldn't be leading. So why do leaders struggle with that?
Oh, why do leaders struggle? Boy, that's the question, right? Like, why why do leaders struggle to be leaders? It's a tough. If I had that answer, man, I'd be the next Tony Robbins on stage telling everybody how to do this, right? Um,
I mean, I have my
look,
opinion, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I have an opinion about it too, but it's I think we get so wrapped around the axle um, with finding value. It, we're an instant gratification society, man.
Oh,
Uh,
especially today. Oh man.
we thrive on consumerism. How do I? What have you done for me lately?
Mm-hmm.
Heard that one a time or two.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I think that tasks are a really easy way to show, yeah, look, I accomplished 180 things, and that's 20% above, what the last person that did this job is. But the question we're not asking is how much closer to the goal did that get us, right? Did that 20% matter? Was it the right 20%? With a team, when I build a team, you know if it's the right team
Mm-hmm.
because the team's either effective or it's not,
I
right?
totally agree.
Um, and I'm not saying that from like if I build a team, they're perfect. I built bad teams too,
No,
right?
I agree.
Like we all have to learn, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're playing, Red Rover come over, you pick the wrong guy and he's not as good at aim as you thought he was, right? When you're playing dodgeball, it's not the right guy. Yeah, boy,
I mean, it's just
I
a big
think
one. I
I think
personally
it.
think. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I think here's the deal, right? If you can't, if you can't own your failures, if you can't lean forward, um, I had a great leader. He's hopefully he'll be on this show at some point. I really respected him, but he always used to walk around saying, "Build your brand, right?
Yeah,
Build your brand.
yeah. I know you're
Know
talking
what you stand for. Build your brand." He's got his own brand. It's great. And I love
about.
him, and I love it. Um, I personally believe that leaning forward is everything. Um, you can't bust through every wall leaning forward. You can't run into the wall a million times. That's the definition of insanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like keep running into the wall and expecting something else to happen. It's just craziness. But if you lean forward into everything that you do and you fail, which you will, it doesn't hurt as much when you hit the ground because you're leaning forward. You're not that far from the ground. You're also still have forward momentum, right? You're falling forward, which means you're still moving forward, and forward progress is a good thing.
I totally agree.
Um, it also means you can get off the ground, right?
Mhm.
Or it's easier to help you get off the ground, right? Um,
The
failure is the pathway to success. You have to fail.
Yeah,
Um, if you never failed at anything in your life, I'm here to tell you, one leader to another, you've never been tried, you've never been tested, and I don't know that you've ever been proven. Um, that's just the facts of it.
no, I
Um,
agree. I totally agree. The I think another aspect of that is s- I can't speak to every environment, but what I have seen personally is that we don't hold people accountable. Again, back to my accountability thing. We don't tell people when they're doing bad. Like we're so good at telling people they're so great. Like you're doing great. You're doing great. Or when they're doing bad, we just quietly push them off to the side. Like, oh, you're gonna go over here. Why aren't we telling them, hey, here are your left and right? And that was the other part of it. Very rarely have I seen the oh man, my first interaction with my DO, he established a left and right for me, and then he said, "Oh man, I'm sure you know about the 0, 5, 10, 25 rule. You know, you deploy he did that too. He set up like a plan, like a timeline of things, and then every that marker came for that day count. We did a left. Did we meet the objective? Not. Oh man, that was like my spirit animal or whatever you want to call it. Like I was in love with like this is how I live.
yeah,
Give me my left and rights. Let's keep each other in check. Did we meet it? Like it that's oh man, I could live that all day. And he did it and it made my world. The we don't do that enough anymore, man. I can't tell how many times when I've taught some classes, I've asked people like, hey, did your boss give you your left and rights? Did you have a 30, 60, 90, 120 mark that we need to accomplish this by this day in front, like stuff like that. It just doesn't happen. I know you can't do it in every situation. I understand that, but there's still ways you can give yourself left and rights and a way to objectively look at what you've done and are you being effective, right? Not only as a leader, but as just a technical environment too, just various things. That just doesn't happen enough. So going back to what we're talking about, if you fail, why leaders like that, I guess a follow up to that would be what does trust actually look like in action? Not necessarily the buzzword. We're all about using these big words, right? But
Mhm.
real no shit trust. Like, what does that look like within action? Like, what does that look like objectively, like day to day?
It's a good question. I know what it looks like in the field, right? Uh, and sometimes it's just it happens, right? Um, here's what I can say. If I'm working with a leader, I'm working with a team of people. We'll go to a team. Team's always is always good. Every team has a leader. Sometimes they have multiple leaders, right? I have to trust that my leaders have my back, right? They have to know and trust that I'm gonna make mistakes, but I'm not gonna make the big ones, right? Um, I'm not gonna get them. I'm not gonna do something that's gonna put them in jail. I'm not gonna do something that's gonna put me in jail,
Yeah,
right? I'm giving my best effort, right? And maybe I fall short. Maybe we miss a deadline, right? But trust looks like consistently hitting the mark, right? I consistently can trust this person to deliver, right? Might be a day early, might be a day late, might be right on time. They're always right in that shot group, right? They're very close together.
yeah,
They build consistency, and off of that consistency, I can trust their work, right? Another way is, validation of work. Somebody puts in hard work. and I check it 2 or 3 times and it's always consistent and it's always right, I shouldn't be checking that. I shouldn't have to check their work every single time after that because they've already proven to me that they're consistent in it, right?
Yeah,
I can bring them up to that level of trust and say, "You got this. I don't need to worry about this anymore, but you owe it to me on this battle rhythm," right?
totally agree.
That that's trust in an office environment, right? We're really good at micromanaging people. Uh, some people would call it herding cats, right? We're real good at it. Be here at this time, do this. Well, the boss said be here at 8. That means you got to be here at 7. I got to be there at 7:45. That means you got to be there at 7:30. That means somebody else. Like we're really good at micromanaging the snot out of people instead of just saying, "Hey, you owe me 8 hours. I don't care when you get your 8 hours done. Show up and get it done,
Yeah, totally
right?
agree.
And if you can get it done in 6, do something to develop yourself, right?
Yep.
That doesn't mean rush through your work to get that extra 2 hours to do something to develop yourself. That means if you deliver good quality work and you got the bandwidth to do something else, do it,
Yeah, totally agree.
right? So,
All right. So at one point you said reputation matters as much or more than what you do, right? So
mhm.
we're going to jump right into this. Have you ever supported someone whose reputation actually hurt yours?
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Uh, I've also, they call it hitching your wagon to the wrong horse, right? It's really tough. This is a competition, whether you like it or not.
Oh, I totally agree. 100%.
Right? Like you're playing for all the marbles, uh, and circles of people matter. Who your network is matters. Who's defending you matters. Um, who represents you matters, right?
Totally agree.
Because if they don't know your story, and this, circle back, right? You need to know your people. If you're a leader and you're representing somebody and you don't know your people, you're failing them.
Mm-hmm.
You are failing them. And we're not talking about the failure that leads to success. We're talking about your failing to get them in the right rooms.
Totally agree.
Um, I've had people question decorations that I go, oh, they give everybody that decoration. Screw you. Like, no, they don't.
Yeah.
That's your opinion. Take it somewhere else. You can question my record all you want. It doesn't bother me at the end of the day. I know who I am. Remember what we started this conversation, same thing. I want to end the way that I started, kind, caring, full of faith, surrounded by my friends and my family, because legacy is a tough topic.
It's actually very interesting. Like, that was like a perfect transition for me. So talking about legacy, right? You've said that leadership isn't about what happens when you're in charge, right? It's about what happens after you leave, legacy. So it's a really important thing to remember. A lot of people just don't really grasp that sometimes. They get so caught up in the moment. So
Yeah.
diving into legacy and leaning forward, how do you measure what happens after you leave?
Okay. Um, we talk about task management versus, trust and things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're a leader in the room, when you're a leader in the room, you can control the environment. Um, you can make sure that all the tasks get done. You can write every award and decoration. You can do every performance report. Everything will look copacetic. Uh, the team might even be high functioning because you're just that driven. When you leave that team and nobody else knows how to do it, the team's going to fall on its face. It's going to fail miserably at everything, not just at the some things, but you'll leave a whole generation of people who are struggling to catch up with reading and writing and taking care of people because they were never taught that.
Yeah.
They never had to work through it. And you can't. Like, as a leader, can I do everything for an organization? Depends on the size of the organization, to your point.
Yeah. Totally agree.
More than likely, I can do most. I can certainly make sure the people that I care about get taken care of, and the people that the organization cares about get taken care of. Everybody else will be just kind of left to fend. That's not leadership. That's not leadership. If
I
you're
agree.
only taking care of the people that, you have time for, you're not doing your job. You need to be taking care of the people that you don't really have time for just as much as everybody else. Uh, and it sucks. Being a leader's hard. You
It
got to
is.
suck it up. But when it comes to legacy, right, and it comes to that stuff, uh, I've seen that. I've taken over teams where everything was done for them and they won. They did great things. But you didn't teach them to take care of themselves. You taught them that some other leader is going to come in and do it for them.
Yeah, they're not prepped for
And
tomorrow, basically. Totally agree with you.
not all leaders are equal. And at the end of the day, they're no longer, like you said, they're not prepped to be a leader. Maybe they're the one that had to step up and fill that role, and now they can't
Yeah.
because you didn't teach them.
Yeah, totally agree. All right, well, we're gonna jump into something a little bit more personal here.
Cool.
So one of the main reasons I kind of started this thing, another big reason past accountability, whatnot, was I'm in the transition point of transitioning out of the military, right, and trying to understand what that's like to move out, and I'm coming to learn that we're not really taught how to prep for that. We're just not. Like I've come to there's resources to a certain degree, but ultimately there's not a lot out there for you. But that's why I kind of got in this one. I have conversations with different people at different levels of their career, whether it's military or civilian, whatever. And this is like a big question I'm gonna ask, but basically when it comes time for you to take the uniform off or move on to the next cycle of your life, or even get to the end, like we just want to retire and you're done. What is it that you hope your kids are gonna say about you? Like how you lived in their life, whether it's professionally, personally, whatever.
Man, I'm full of buzzwords tonight, right? I'll say this. Um, I lived uh, I lived an interesting life, um, to say the least. I mean, you know the Green Book story, right? I got a I got one of these books or many of these books for every year of my career. My kids ever want to know something about my career, they can go and read it.
That's
I won't
cute.
be talking about it, right? So it's over.
Yeah.
Um, I hope my kids know that I loved them, that everything I did was for them. Um, I hope the people that I work behind know that I love them and that everything I did was for them. The reality of the situation is I don't really want anything post this life. I don't I want to be remembered as a good teammate. That's it. That's it. At the end of the day, I don't really need the accolades. I don't care about winning the Medal of Honor. None of that stuff is important to me, man. What God bless the men and women that do that stuff. And you know, I don't know. I don't know what the world looks like um, with a Sean Schuyler MOH because it doesn't exist, and it probably never will, right? But what I can tell you is um, that's a heavy cross to bear, and I'm glad every day that I didn't have to bear that cross. Uh,
Yeah.
I got other crosses to bear.
Yeah.
Uh, I didn't do everything in my life right or perfect. Uh, my kids will tell you I spent way too many nights at work. Uh, Spent way too many nights going TDY,
No, I get
and
it, man.
it wasn't enough.
Yeah, life is shorter than we realize. It catches up to us quick. Well, that's fair though. It's a good answer though. So to kind of getting close to closing here, I got like roughly 5 questions. So the goal of this kind of like rapid fire, right? We're gonna shoot them at you. So basically, I'm gonna shoot the question to you. Try to respond in a sentence or two, nothing too long, just right off the top of your head. Don't think about it too much. Just the first thing that comes to mind, real short and simple. Okay. So, are you ready?
Yep, shoot it.
All right. What belief have you changed your mind on in the last 5 years?
Ooh,
You're cheating, Sean. You're
yeah,
cheating.
man, that's a tough question. Belief that I changed my mind on in the last 5 years
Yep,
that I can do it all.
that's fair. That's actually, I think, one a lot of us have actually, especially when you get to the point in our careers, it just happens because we're so important at the like mid management level. We're doing so much, and we get up to the chambers like shit, like we can't do any of this. The That's fair.
Pro-
All right,
Probably,
question two.
probably
I'm
that I
sorry.
was the center of the world. Like I'm not the sun, man. The world doesn't revolve around me.
I get it.
Yeah,
It
probably,
does me when I have like that fifth monster, but that's that's me.
probably. Yeah.
Um. All right, question number two. You ready?
Hmm.
All right. What scares you about the future of leadership?
That we didn't prepare them. That we
Oh,
failed them.
that's perfect. Oh, that's a perfect answer. All right, number three. You good?
Yep.
What gives you hope?
That we did prepare them.
Oh, even better. All
That
right, number
that
four. If this was a game show, you'd be winning. All right, you ready for number four?
yeah,
What's something you're still working on?
being a good person.
There you go. It's always a good one. All right, number five. Who corrected you in a way that hurt at the time but made you better?
I I always draw back to my dad. My dad has provided me a lot of correction in my life. Not that other leaders haven't. I've had a lot of leaders who punch me in the face, uh, figuratively and literally. I've been surrounded and blessed by so many good leaders in my life. But I will say that my dad used to ask me, "Why do you have to do it the hard way? You don't have to do it the hard way. I did it the hard way. You see where the hard way ends up? You're looking at it. You don't have to do it this way." And at the time, I didn't ever understand what he was trying to get to me. My answer was simple. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I just got to do it the hard way. You don't have to do it the hard way. You
No,
can learn what I learned years later was that you can you can learn from everybody around you. I don't have to do cocaine to know that it's bad for me, right? I don't have to ruin my life to know that it's bad for me, right? I don't have to make some mistakes to know that they're mistakes. I can see other people make those mistakes and know that that's probably not a thing, right? Turns out I don't look very good in orange or black and white stripes. Just not a thing for me, right?
yeah.
Um, I don't have to do that. I can look at you and go, "Oh my gosh, maybe that wasn't the right time to bring something up in a meeting, even though it was funny," right? Um, so learning from your environment is really good. And I think it really hurt me at the time because I was just trying really hard, right? I was digging really hard. I was not smart. Didn't really know what I was going to do with my life. So it hurt real bad to have somebody say, "Why you got to be so damn stupid? Why you got to be so, why you got to be so stubborn? You do not have to live this life. You're choosing to live this life, and it's a choice, and you're free to make that choice. There's nothing I can do to stop you from making that choice. But you know what else you're not free from? You're not free to walk away from the consequences of your choice. When you make that choice, there are going to be consequences, good or bad, and you have to live with them. So keep making dumb choices. Keep getting stupid answers in reply from the world because the world will provide that for you, you know. But yeah, it really hurt at the time because I was just trying to do my best. Years later, I knew it came from a place of love, and that he was just really trying to tell me, like, "Hey, man, just learn from people around you. You don't have to walk in the fire or touch the stove to know it's hot, right?"
No, that's great, man. And it's been a great conversation tonight. Some really good things that I glad things to look back on. I'm glad you had your father there to help you with that, man. A lot of people, they just didn't have that figure around growing up. So it's just amazing you had. And it shows. I work with you, like how you stand in your word and your posture, like everything about you. It's a great thing to look up to. I really appreciate
Well,
you leaning. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm a dad for rent. I charge $59.95 a month. Call me anytime.
Nah, yeah, I got the website. I'll throw you on there, dude. People can rent you
Yeah,
out. I got you.
thanks. Thanks.
All right, man. I really appreciate you leaning into this. You didn't have to come on here, but you did. You didn't come to defend a title. You came on here to defend your philosophy, what you stand for, and what you do to live your life. That's trust. It's ownership. It's leaning forward, even when you know it's going to hurt. you said something that like really stuck with me, especially when we're having our Q&A before all this, is then you said that leadership isn't about what happens when you're in charge. It's about what happens when you leave. Now that just hit, man. Like, it really meant something. That means we're all temporary. That stripe is temporary. The position is temporary. The authority, it's all temporary. Like it's all going to be gone one day, but that impact isn't. And that quiet part that nobody ever really says out loud because they're just too afraid or whatever, they're afraid of looking bad in front of somebody or something, is that we own the problem, that we never actually own the solution. That means leadership is heavy, but it's also honorable. So to everyone out there that's listening and you want to jump in and you're hearing what we're talking about, you might have the solution that Sean was looking for, or maybe you don't. I don't know. But maybe you figured out something that him or I never did. That's the whole point of this platform, because this conversation isn't about rank. It's about character. This is no rank required, and we're just getting started. Thanks, bud.